What's up, guys? My name is Nicholas from Plugged Into Gaming, and you are watching our first review on this channel, and it's going to be of the Nintendo 64 console. And I have a little bit of a personal connection to this console before we start the review. When I was about 4 or 5, my friend and I would hang out at his house a lot, and when we went over to his house, he had this console, and we would play worlds that I had never seen before, done things that I had never seen before. For example, I would explore these gigantic castles, and I would race in these carts with people I'd never seen before. And keep in mind, I was 4 or 5, so I didn't understand most of this. Then, a couple years later, he moved on from this console and wanted to get other consoles, more mature consoles, and he decided that it was time to pass it on to someone, and he decided to pass this console on to me. And ever since, I've been so grateful, because this is the console that introduced me to gaming, and I'm so happy because all of the games that I got for this console as well are absolutely incredible. This console is incredible. So, with that said, let's take a look at this console. So first of all, you see the front, it has the Nintendo 64 logo. It's the Nintendo with 64, obviously, as the N, three-dimensional, because this console is the first 3D Nintendo console. It has 4 controller ports. I've honestly always had 2, and I've been fine. So if you don't have this console, I would only suggest getting 2 to start out with. If you have a lot of people that really want to play Nintendo 64 games, then get 4 controllers, but I only ever needed 2. Then we have the upper part of the console, the top. We got the on and off switch. This is on, this is off, and this is on. Then we got the reset button. I don't really use this much, but because most of the time when I have to hit this, my game crashes. And then in here is our memory pack. In here is the jumper pack, and this has 4 megabytes or 4 gigabytes of memory. I don't remember exactly what that was. I'll probably put it on screen. And this is what basically powers the Nintendo 64, because you wouldn't be able to play the games without it. Oops. And in some games later on in the console's life, there was actually an extension to this. You'd take this out and you'd put another one in called the expansion pack, and for a couple of games that it would work for this. I don't actually have any of the games that it needed it for, but it needed it for games such as Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64, and Perfect Dark. And that increased the memory to 8 megabytes or gigabytes, whatever one it was. So put that back. In the top we have an exhaust fan and where the cartridge goes, and this is the last Nintendo console with a cartridge based system. So just put them right in. That's your cartridge holder. Alright, here at the back we have 2 ports. We have this big port, which is the outlet port. This is what you plug into the wall. And while you can take this out, I don't suggest it. I just keep it in, especially if you received it or bought it like this. Keep it in there. I would just suggest it. It's just recommended that you keep it in there. And then this comes with the composite cable output. Obviously, it's on HDMI. It came out about 14 years ago. Actually, more. It probably came out, when did this come out? 18 years ago, I think. It has the red, white, and yellow cables, if you don't know what the composite means. And this part plugs right into the back of our console here. Oops, wrong way. Like that. Okay? It's really simple to set up, especially if you've done this with other ones. It's probably the simplest way to set up a console. Now, speaking of controller ports and all of that stuff, here's the controller. Now, the controller is an interesting one, especially if you don't have this console. First thing, right off the bat, you'll notice it has 3 prongs, I guess. Like most controllers, it has just this. Even the GameCube controller just has this part. It has 3. It's 1, 2, 3. And this was a little bit controversial, I guess, because gamers don't know where to put their hands. I'm going to tell you right now, I keep my hands like this, and I'll explain why a little later. So first of all, let's explain what's on this controller. So first of all, we have the D-pad. It is the up, down, left, right thing. It's on almost every, I think it is on every Nintendo console to date. Then we have the start button here. No select, just start. The analog stick, which provided for the first 3D Nintendo consoles, as I said before, it allowed for full 360 movement. So up, down, left, right, and then as well as all directions. On this side we have A and B, just the action buttons usually, and then we have the C buttons, mostly used, I'm just going to say mostly because there are a couple games that don't use it for, mostly used for camera control. And then we have the trigger buttons, the L and R, and on the back we see this extension port here, which is used for things such as the Rumble Pack included in Star Fox 64, and we have the Z button, which is another trigger button, but it's also used for things such as targeting in Legend of Zelda and crouching and doing special moves in Mario. So this is a very useful button over here. Now I'm going to tell you how you really should hold the controller. Most games require you to hold it like this, and they don't say hold it like this, but based on their controls, you have to hold it like this. My left hand is on the analog stick and can reach the start button with ease, and my pointer finger can hold down the Z button. And then my right hand goes where the A, B, C, and R buttons are. So my hands will look like this when I'm playing. Now, if you don't have the Nintendo 64, you might wonder, well, what happens with the D-pad? To be honest, I almost never use the D-pad. There are games that use it, but there aren't many that really use it to its full potential, so there aren't many games that make you hold it like this. And the L button's used in some, but it's not so important that you have to reach across right away, so it's not like an action button where you have to hit it and change your hands. So it's pretty comfortable like this, actually, and it holds your hand down too. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good controller. I like it. It's comfortable for what it is, just weird with the 3 prongs. Some of the games for this console are absolutely incredible, monumental games even. So first we have Super Mario 64. This is the first game I ever played. Pretty good, and it's one of the older game ratings, so it's the K to A's, which it basically is E for everyone, but it's kids to adults, that's what it means. This is one of the staple games, one of the launch games for Nintendo 64, along with Pilot Wings, which I do not own. And it's a great game. I would suggest it to anybody. I'll do a review on this soon. Some of the other ones I just have on hand right here is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which is incredible. People say it's the best game of all time. I would sort of disagree with that, but it is very, very good. First racing game ever, Diddy Kong Racing. That's the one I was explaining before when I said my story. I have Pokemon Stadium. I like Pokemon, although I'm not a huge fan, although I like the old Pokemon, so this one's good. And then I recently got Yoshi's Story. So these 5 games are incredible. And these are just a couple. Some other ones that, especially if you're an older gamer, GoldenEye 007 is a great game. Then they have, as I mentioned before, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, the sequel to Ocarina of Time. They also have Banjo-Kazooie, which is a favorite among many gamers who had the Nintendo 64 when they were younger too. So a great plethora of awesome games. So I'm just going to put this to make it so that's not a blank table here. So the Nintendo 64 overall is an amazing console. It's a great console to have if you are just getting into retro gaming, because it has a ton of games that are definitely useful. Great games for your collection. I would rate the Nintendo 64 not based on the games, but just on the console and the controller, how it plays, I would definitely give the Nintendo 64 a 9 out of 10, just based on how great this console really is. And I would definitely pick up the 5 games that I had shown on the screen, as well as some of the ones that I mentioned. Those are excellent games, excellent titles to pick up. Soon I will be doing a top 10 Nintendo 64 titles as well, and a specific Nintendo 64 controller review as well. So, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe to Plugged Into Gaming. I would love to see your support, especially for how new this channel is at this point. I'd love to see all of the support, and I'd like to get a lot of subscribers and a lot of... I want this channel to really be successful. Alright, guys, so thanks for watching. You could tell me what you want me to review next. I have many Nintendo consoles, so yeah, just comment below and tell me what you want me to review next. I have a lot of games too, so just tell me below. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Nicholas from Plugged Into Gaming, and thanks for watching.